Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Thanks so much for joining us once again today. I'm glad to have you here with us because today we've got a special guest on the line. We're going to be speaking with Shepard Ambellas of theintelhub.com, a very quickly growing alternative independent media outlet who's been doing some great work over the years. So Shepard, thanks so much for joining us here today, man, at Press for Truth TV.
Anytime, Dan. It's a pleasure to be on.
Awesome. Well, we go back years. I mean, I've been on your program a number of times, and you've been doing a lot of really great work since then. But for anybody who might not be familiar with theintelhub.com, why don't you start us off by just letting us know a little bit about how you got involved with doing some activism and in the truth movement, and how you got to the point where you're made theintelhub.com.
Sure. It's kind of a weird story, Dan. I had been researching for years here and there. I remember reading books like Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. My parents were into a lot of stuff. I've heard them use the terminology New World Order when I was a kid. I remember them talking about the famous Bush speech when he actually announced, the need for a new world order pretty much back in the 90s, I believe. And, as the economy, I'm actually an electrical contractor, Dan, so the economy was taking a downturn about the time I discovered the mass graves and broke that on the Alex Jones show. Some people might be aware of that. But basically, that got me kind of interested in the journalism aspect of it, I guess you would say. And I was always mad at the New World Order for how they've been controlling the media, just kind of, they're just kind of over everyone doing their thing, stirring stuff up, obviously. So as the economy took a downturn, especially in the construction market, Dan, I just got actually mad. I basically lost one of my businesses and ended up just having nothing. And just out of being mad and angry, I got fired up and I said, you know what? I'm going to go talk about this every single day until it makes a difference. And that's what I did.
That's awesome, man, and that's what it takes sometimes for people is to be directly affected. Was that sometime in and around 2008 or so?
2000, the end of 2009, 2010 era is when I got really into it. I started doing YouTube videos, and it just kind of went from there. Articles, blog TVs, anything and everything I could to just help bring awareness to the issue of the New World Order and the corrupt system that we all live in.
Well, you've certainly constantly been stepping up your game, and I had the pleasure of meeting you in person for the first time in Chantilly, Virginia there during the Bilderberg conference that we were both covering. What was that experience like for you? Was that your first time doing something of that nature?
Sure, yeah, pretty much. I went to an Occupy protest in Maui, which was interesting. It was one of my first on-scene things like that I really did, and we filmed it. And it was interesting, a little island like Maui, and there was actually tours, there was police logging license plates of the protesters. So we saw all this stuff that, is so common, like you see during, the Seattle, when they had the provocateurs that you reported on as well. So, we started seeing this in Maui, a small place. That was kind of the first thing. So Bilderberg was like my second deal like that, and it was pretty wild. I knew when I went there, I just wanted to work real hard and try and get good pictures and information, and that's pretty much what I was focused on. We didn't really even know we were going to use any of that footage in the film at that point. I think we kind of talked about it, and then it kind of evolved into Shade the Motion Picture, which I was already working on, but the whole concept's kind of been evolving ever since. And then meeting up with Burmis, of course, was just great. I mean, he's so fired up about all this. He's very intelligent, very keen about everything. And to top it off, he's a great filmmaker. So what better combination? You know what I mean? So kind of worked out pretty good. And we've been working on Shade, the motion picture, ever since. And it's coming along good. Burmis is editing it right now. We're, organizing all the footage behind the scenes. There's a couple more film shoots left to do. We're still trying to get some real big names in the film. So we'll see what happens, but it's coming along.
That's definitely a great guy to hook up with. I mean, he's made a lot of great films out there. Producer of Loose Change. He made Fabled Enemies and Visible Empire. So that's great that you have an opportunity to work with him. And so now the film is getting near. You're still in production, obviously, but what sort of things can people expect from this film? What's the general synopsis?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting whether you're awake or new to all this. You're going to walk away from this film, first of all, your jaw's going to hit the floor. But second of all, you're going to walk away with some inspiration and some hope. And you're going to walk away fired up and ready to go full force against the New World Order however you can, whether that means writing an article a day, submitting it to great sites like Press for Truth or the Intel Hub. Whatever the case, whether you call someone, call your, a random friend that doesn't know about it, tell them about it. That's kind of what I was talking with Skoll with a little bit, networking and the need to just expose all this corruption and get this information out, as you've been doing as well, Dan. I mean, this kind of stuff is what's really going to make a difference. But I noticed that some of these truthers, the biggest thing that I've noticed, Dan, is that a lot of these truthers that I even talk to are kind of scared to come out. They know this information's there. They know that they're being depopulated. They know the New World Order is doing this and that to them, but they're kind of in fear. They're like, hey, I'm being recorded. I'm too paranoid to kind of come out and talk about this. This is what I get from time to time. This movie's going to fire people up to where they're not scared anymore. They're going to see other people doing it, and they're going to take action.
That is fantastic, man, because you're right. That is absolutely what this movement needs. And I'm looking forward to seeing a kind of film that does something like that, fires people up, lets them know that it's empowering to get involved in the movement and to get out there and actually start doing things. And, in regards to being watched, being monitored, it's simply something that those of us who are involved in doing this is just something that you just can't worry about. You cannot let that slow you down. You cannot let that stop you.
Exactly, Dan. That's how I feel. I mean, look, you're being watched anyways. You might as well just do something for humanity and go for it. Because, look, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be scared of all this, and then I'm just gonna let it happen anyways. It's all happening, whether you're scared of it or not. It's all happening, and we got to do something about it, or it's just gonna get real bad.
Absolutely, and people won't realize how good it actually feels to get involved until you do it. And sometimes it takes just diving in head first. People out there who may be listening right now might think it sounds overwhelming. They might not know anything about running a website or doing YouTube videos. I didn't know anything about it when I jumped in head first. I'm sure you're the same, and you have come a long way since you've been doing it. So it's absolute proof right there that it can be done. So
it's funny you mentioned that, Dan. I knew nothing about, I could barely type when I started the Intel Hub. Me and Alex Thomas started figuring out how to build these websites by talking to people, and literally did it all ourselves. Everything you see, we had help, obviously, people helping us here and there, but basically we took the initiative to go ahead and say, hey, look, I need to get this website up. How am I going to do it? And we started learning how to do, the process of it. And it built from there. And then, doing radio shows and whatnot and just getting out there. I remember like my first interview, Dan, it was bad. People can go back and listen to it. I just kind of cringe when I hear it, but I guess it wasn't that bad, but it kind of was. I'm lucky David Icke is a very good speaker because he was my first interview.
Wow.
And what was crazy is I was having the craziest Skype recording problems because this interview was going to have to be recorded on Skype. Well, my program went bad and I was trying to download a new one and it came right down to the last second, and then David Icke popped on and there was the interview. And so it was pretty weird, but I took it from there and interviewed people since and whatnot. But everyone can do the same thing. I mean, you can go out and go ahead and interview people, get people's different takes on things, put that on your YouTube. This is what is going to wake people up. It's what people are looking for. They want this information.
Absolutely, man. And that's a pretty big one for your first one. That's something, all right. And it's when people just get out of their comfort zone, because it is kind of nerve-wracking doing some of these things sometimes. But I found in my experience, anytime I've stepped out of my own comfort zone and did something which I'm not entirely comfortable with, like public speaking, I hate doing it, but I do it. Mm-hmm. And every time I do it, I know something good is coming out of it. And we have to just continue to step out of that comfort zone to take our activism to the next level. So on that note, because you guys are doing tremendous work over there at the intelhub.com, and there's such an awakening happening right now where there's so many people who want to get involved and would love to get to the point of somebody such as a Shepard Ambellas. So if you had maybe a little bit of advice for people, what are some first steps or any little things that people can do to get more involved?
Well, like I said, I mean, just taking the first step, starting a blog or something like that is the first step. If you want to go far with it, a lot of people will get discouraged because it is kind of hard. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you can go into like a blog TV room and test it out and see that, it's hard to get people to come see what you're talking about. At one point when I was actually doing blog TVs, I could pull like 2,000 people into a room just when I turned on my blog TV and simulcast in multiple rooms. And, you get to that level by getting more confident, working. Actually, you know what? A lot of hard work. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of hard work. But, if you have the passion, it's very possible. And whether you're, even if you just got a couple hours free time a week, you could make a YouTube video. So, I mean, hey, and if it got seen by a couple hundred people, that's great. There's really no limits to this or like cap on anything, I guess. I mean, you can just, the sky's the limit, literally.
That's right. And like you said, it's all about planting those seeds. Even if you're at the point where you're doing this, but you're only getting 100 or 200 views per video, do not get discouraged. You never know who might come across those videos, who you may inspire, and what that seed may sprout into someday. So, it's great to just continue to keep plugging away, such as yourself. And so I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're a busy guy. You're working on the film all the time. You got the website going. So why don't you tell us, everybody, where we can find more from you? Do you have social media network links and the website? Give out some info of where people can hear more from you.
Yeah, I mean, go to theintelhub.com. Of course, it's our main site. There's Facebook and Twitter and YouTube icons on the left, our RSS feed you can grab. Peruse the website, check it out. But also don't forget to go to shadethemotionpicture.com and check out this film project myself and Jason Burmis are working on. You're in the film, Dan. It's going to be awesome. I mean, it's something I'm looking forward to. I'm working very hard on it. And, I'm just one of those people that never feels like it's good enough. So I hope the film's going to be good.
I'm sure it's going to be great, man. And I would strongly encourage people to support the work that you're doing. Pre-order a copy of Shade the Film. I pre-ordered mine. I've got mine on the way. I would strongly encourage others to do the same. And once again, man, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be paying attention to everything going on with you from here on out. So thanks again, man, and keep up the great work.
You too, Dan. I appreciate everything you too as well. You guys do as well, brother, and it means a lot.
Cool, man. All right, you keep it up. Take care.
All right, thanks so much.
See ya.
We'll see you.